I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, I've been warning you guys about this one for a while on this particular strata. I'm going to call this one, we've got another pre-sale bloodbath here, and I've talked about many of these over the years. Pre-sales, especially luxury pre-sale condos that were sold 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. You finally get the keys on them. The market has changed a whole lot in that time period. You've got a whole bunch of sellers in there on what I call change of circumstance. Some were just flippers to begin with, speculators that thought they would buy the unit. And of course, at the display center, they tell you buy the unit. 5 years later from now, real estate goes nothing but up, and it's a gravy train with brisket wheels, and it's easy money. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way. The market goes the wrong direction while that strata is being built, especially with luxury strata. So I've done many cases over the years, including one, last summer at this time, a new development in New Westminster. Got the keys. It had a long delay on it. It was about 7 years from the time they pre-sold these, and we had a flood of 80 or 90 listings that hit the market at once, and everything just starts to plummet from there. So this one I've told you guys a little bit. This is the Butterfly. Nice looking strata, nice looking building from the outside, fairly unique. A lot of realtors call this one another iconic tower. You guys know how I feel about the term iconic. Every building they build in downtown is iconic according to them. You guys got to stop it. I've done a couple of blogs on this. These buildings are not iconic in any way, shape, or form. The term is overused a great deal. But the Butterfly, I've mentioned this over the last year or so. As you guys know, as a realtor that does a lot of sales downtown, I get calls a lot of the time from realtors. I get spammed with unsolicited email like you wouldn't believe, because they know I sell a lot of condos. I work with a lot of buyers selling their assignments. So I first started seeing assignment sales coming up in the Butterfly probably over a year ago, and it wasn't good then, even a year ago. These were units that they would advertise, 2-bed, 2-bath, low floor, not much of a view, 1 parking. We're looking to sell it as an assignment, $200,000 below contract price. So they're already taking a $200,000 loss. They need to get out of it before it completes. And I probably got 15 of those, I bet, over the last 10 or 11 months. So now the Butterfly has got possession. They're getting the building isn't fully occupied yet, but they're getting occupancy permit floor by floor. So I just took a quick look. There's 13 units currently listed active, and there's going to be a whole lot more. If you're looking to buy in the Butterfly, don't do anything yet. Just wait another 2 or 3 months. Wait till the dog days of summer. We'll probably have 30 or 40 listed in there by that time as they get occupancy. I took a quick look. I think at my count right now, we've got 22 listings currently listed for rent. And some of the units that are currently listed for sale are also listed for rent, which I'll tell you about in a minute. And that is a real bad situation here, as I'm going to tell you on one of these units. So, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to take a look. I don't want to be too critical. I'm going to hold back a little bit here. But I already knew 7, 8, 9, 10 months ago that this was going to be trouble for those sellers if they needed to get out, needed to sell either as an assignment or needed to put it on the MLS once they got keys. But now that I've seen the photos, the address of this is 1033 Nelson. You guys let me know. I know a lot of you guys that watch my blog are real estate aficionados and are going out to open houses. You're like me, you're always looking at units, always going into new strata. So some of you guys might have already looked at the Butterfly for some open houses already. Give me your feedback in the comment section. But I'm going to head out there this weekend to take a look. I'll just stop in for half an hour and take a look at 2 or 3 opens, because I'm sure there'll be 10 of them open on Saturday and Sunday here. So I'll have a quick look, but I've had a pretty good look at the floor plans and the photos on the MLS with the listings that are currently on there. Take a look, guys. Let me know what you think. Not good. Far worse situation than I thought 10 months ago. I knew they were in trouble, but now that I've seen the finishings, the design, the layouts of these units, it doesn't look good for a few things. First off, with the shape and curvature of that strata, the rooms are very odd. There's a curvature to it. The 2 beds and even a lot of the 1 beds, the bedroom is an interior bedroom. They have one bedroom that's on the outside and another bedroom that's set back by the living room. And on that one, it's surrounded with glass with curtains that separate the second bedroom from the living room. You'll have to see it. Some people describe it as kind of a doctor's office with the curtains that separate the living room from the second bedroom. The second bedrooms on a lot of these two beds are only 10 by 10, 10 by 11. So they're very small. You can barely fit a bed in there without touching the other wall. The other thing that was peculiar to me was just the choice of finishings, the colors and the style. I'm sure the quality is good on these cabinets and the fixtures and the tubs and everything else. It's just the styling of these. The kitchens feature all shiny gold fixtures. Tap sets, shower head, curtain rods, towel racks are all, there's different types of gold. You know, there's kind of that rose matte finish gold, which was kind of hot about a year and a half ago. Not so much now, it's already out of vogue. It goes in and out so quick. And that's why you got to be very careful when you kind of get out there with these fashion forward kind of color schemes. But this is not that. This is a very bright, shiny gold. You'd have to take a look at it. The tile is it looks like marble, but it's a gold veined marble that runs through it. The other thing that's a little peculiar to me, on all the 1 and 2 and even 3 beds in the bathrooms, it's fine with a powder bathroom, where it's just a toilet and a sink. But all in the main bathrooms are all pedestal sinks. I think they call them barrel sinks. So you'll have to see it. It's just it looks like an oil drum barrel with no countertop above it. So I don't know where women would put their makeup or, hair dryer or things that they need around the sink. You take a look at it for yourself. The realtors I've talked to about it were all pretty much unanimous on it. It's very odd. Fine to have that kind of sink in a powder bathroom, but not in a main bathroom. And in the larger units is just 2 of those barreled sinks side by side, again, with no counter space. The cabinets in the kitchen, they look dated already. They are a white, shiny white lacquer, shiny finish. So there are kind of coming back a bit to the whiter kitchens. Again, it all goes in kind of 10-year cycles. I think the mid-tones are probably more in fashion right now, but if you're going to go white, you don't want to go with this lacquered white. It looks very dated. But you guys be the judge. The other thing is the flooring. They did not go with hardwood flooring or engineered flooring. It is all white tile, large white tile. Now, I know of a great building, the Patina in the West End, that I've done lots of business in, built by Concert. They went with a tiled floor similar to this. And most buyers did not really like it, but they could overlook it, and it was nowhere near the price of what the Patina is, or what the Butterfly is. But a lot of owners in that building over the last 10 years have gotten rid of that floor and put down a engineered or a hardwood floor to warm the unit up. My opinion on this, these floors, they're fantastic in Miami. Or fantastic in Rio de Janeiro or some other hot locale. But in Vancouver, it just gives it a very stark, it just gives it a very stark white, sterile look. And that's what I'm reading online from a lot of people as well, and I would agree. Some people are kind of comparing it to a medical clinic, is what these units look like. Everything is white, white curtains, white floor, white shiny countertops, white everything. It's a whiteout, it's sterile, and it's cold. That's just my opinion. As a realtor with 30 plus years experience, I sell a lot of homes, and I know the kind of feedback I would get if I listed a home like that, because I have had homes in the past listed similar to that, and it's a tougher buyer for it. So you guys have a look, take a look. Love to see your comments on this. Actually, if you follow me on Twitter, I posted something a couple of weeks ago on a photo of the bathrooms in the Butterfly and asked you guys what you thought of this. And of course, I wasn't surprised. Most people thought it was heinous looking. It was hideous. A lot of people described it as being designed by, and myself as being designed by Donald Trump. No, it was not designed by Donald Trump. I asked, and he did not have anything to do with the design with all the gold. But you guys take a look at it. But let me just give you just quickly here before I wrap up, just some of the listings that are on there right now. And it's going to be tough. These people are going to be, I think, losing a lot of money on these. They just are. I'm sorry for some of these buyers, but welcome to pre-sale. As I've often said, guys, I have a lot of respect for developers. I've done lots of videos on the gauntlet they have to do to get anything built and the risk they take in building these things. And they're selling them today, but not building them for another 4, 5, 6 years down the road. And so much can change. So much can go against them in that time period. They have to sell a certain number before they can get construction, and then there's still a whole bunch of risk there that they don't get a whole bunch of cost overruns. But pre-sale can be fine in certain circumstances, I always tell you. But I've always said, if you want to buy a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom where you're dropping $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 million, which I'm going to show you here, some of these units were over 10, then you better be 1,000% committed to buying this as your dream home and moving into it and hanging on to it for, you guys know my rule, 8 to 10 years minimum. That's what you're going to need to ride out any volatility in the market. Market goes sideways on you while they're getting it built. We get a flood of listings. We get interest rate hikes. We get a recession, which we're in right now. Lots of things can happen. You need that 10 years to kind of filter through all that. But if you have any doubts on that, then you should not go near pre-sale, because there's a good chance now, especially the last 3 or 4 years, that you're going to get your head handed to you. And some of these people, we'll have to see how this plays out. I'll give you another update maybe later this fall when we finally get something sold, because nothing is selling. Nothing. And why would anyone buy, as I've often said? You'd be crazy to step into one of these right now. Just let the inventory continue to build. There's already a few price reductions, and it's early, and you're going to get 40, 50 listings in there, and they're going to start coming down. So they're going to take a pretty good loss on these, but this is the risk you take with pre-sale. It's not so bad if you buy a studio for $650 or $700K out in Brentwood. Your risk there isn't that bad. It's an easy unit to rent, and you don't have a ton of capital in there. But putting down $2 million, $3 million, $4 million down on one of these, and then trying to sell them or flip them, or now some of these people I think they realize, the realtor, if it was me, would tell you, guys, it's a bloodbath. Don't, if you can, put a tenant in it, but depending on the unit, that can be not good either, because some of these are going to be $3, $4 million units. Do you really want to put a tenant in there? And you're not going to get very good rent on these, as I'm going to tell you. So for sales right now, the lowest price unit in there right now is a low floor, small junior 1-bed, 523 square feet for $980,000. 523 square feet, low floor. Just under $1 million. Plus, that seller will have another set of GST. I know there's a lot of guys that just do not get this. So stop commenting. You don't know what you're talking about. They've changed now the contract of purchase and sale as of January 1st. Unless stipulated, that seller automatically will be on the hook for that second set of GST. Yeah, you paid the set of GST when you got the keys, but you got a second set because you have never lived in the unit. It's less than a year old. You're flipping it, and they want a second set of GST. So now they made it really easy for buyers. In the past, I had to write in the contract that the seller would be responsible for that GST. Now I don't even need to do that, because now it's already built into our brand new contract of purchase and sale that seller is on the hook if GST is applicable, which it is on these. So they are going to pay another set of GST unless that seller takes an offer and then counters it back and says that the buyer will pay on this unit the $30,000 or the $25,000 GST. And good luck getting that buy on the buyer. They're going to say, well, no, my price is inclusive of GST. I'm not paying GST on top of that. So these sellers are going to get hit with that second set of GST. It's negotiable, as I said, but good luck trying to counter that back with a clause in there saying the buyer's going to pay it. The most expensive unit currently listed, there's going to be way more than this, because they don't even have occupancy on the high floors yet. It's just the low floors and mid floors so far. The highest price so far is a mid-floor unit. It's on the 21st floor. It is a 2-bed, 1 parking, 1,180 square feet, listed currently for $2,888,000. Plus that seller will pay GST. So I took a quick look. The buyer paid $2,850,000 for this 5 years ago, plus GST. So they're going to be taking a loss. After commissions, you're not going to get this price. It's not going to happen. The guy on the 1-bed at $980,000, he paid, I think, $965,000 for that unit, plus GST, 5 years ago. So right now they're trying to lose a little bit of money, Not too bad, but of course these are their asking prices, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be like what the assignments I saw earlier. They were already willing to sell for 200 grand below what they paid for it. So the interesting one about this this 2-bed listed for 2.888, I see on the MLS it's also for rent for $6,000 a month. Now listen, if you're a tenant looking for a nice looking unit, brand new, 1,100 square feet, not a bad deal. For this guy paid $3 million for it, and he's getting $6,000 a month rent. So good deal for the tenant there. I don't know, it's still going to be a tough rent. Most people that are paying $6,000 a month rent are buyers. But you see, that's what they're doing here. They kind of play both ends. I'll list it for what I paid for it, which is not going to happen. You're dreaming. Or I'll rent it, whatever comes first. But the renting on this, I would tell this client, I don't think that's in your best interest. You're taking you're going to have to supplement this. Now, I don't even know. Maybe this guy paid cash for it. A lot of these people are probably pretty well-heeled, multi-millionaires, and they can afford to take a $300,000-$400,000 loss. Some in here on the 1-bedrooms, who knows? I mean, this could be a pretty catastrophic mistake for someone, a young guy buying his first place, hoping to make money and losing 100 or 200K. That hurts. It's tough to recover. But, you're getting $6,000 a month for this. If you had a mortgage on this and put down 20%, you're not even nearly covering you're supplementing this with maintenance fees, property taxes, I don't know, at least another $3,000-$4,000 a month on top of your rent. I'm sure your whole nut on this is probably $10K a month, easy, and you're getting $6,000. Plus the fact you're putting a tenant in a brand new luxury unit. You can't get the tenant out until they decide to leave. It's a fixed term tenancy, and then month to month. There's going to be a lot of wear and tear on a unit like that. It's one thing to rent a 30-year-old studio or 1-bed in a 30-year-old strata. It's another thing to be renting a ultra luxury $3 million small 2-bed with very high-end finishings. Not my style, that's for sure, but they're probably quality, and putting a tenant in it. It's going to depreciate that unit when they finally move out. You're probably going to have to do some repair. You're going to have to do a paint job for $5 grand and everything else. So, that's where it's at. So there's I think right now, as I say, probably 20, I think there's 26 currently for rent. Pretty good deal. Oh, there's a 1-bed in here. I just looked for rent. It's 610 square feet, low floor, of course, with parking for $3,300 a month. I took a quick look. I think these guys paid pretty close to $1 million for that unit. And they're trying to get, it's actually listed at $2,285 currently, open to offer, I'm sure. That's not much of a rent for $1 million unit, but that's welcome to the world of luxury pre-sale, where if you are not 1,000% committed to buying it, putting down your deposits, waiting 5, 6, 7 years for it to get built, and then moving into it as your dream home, there's a very good chance you're going to get your head handed to you here. But you guys, let me know. I'll do another update on this. It's going to be an interesting one to follow. Have a look. Let me know. I want to see. I'm sure some of you guys have already been in that strata. I want to know. The other interesting thing is there are no interior hallways in this building, at least as from what I can see on the photos and looking at the strata plan. So the elevators are in what's known as a breezeway that runs right through the middle of the building, and it's outdoors. When you exit the elevator, it's open air on both ends, and you go around. There's, I think, 3 or 4 units on each side. Your front door is outside. You're exposed to some of the elements. It's sheltered over top, and there's a glass barrier, but there is an opening there. From what I can see, unless it's closed in, I'm not sure, but I think it's open. They call it a breezeway. So we'll see what that's like when we get, one of our rare snowstorms where snow is blowing. It gets pretty windy down there. I live in the area, and we get some pretty good windstorms that, blow over my plants on my deck here. So we'll see how that one works out. The common areas, they're eclectic, is what I would call them. But I don't know. Oh, and I should point out here, just to give you guys a price per square foot. That 1-bed listed at $980. It's they're asking $1,900 a square foot, low floor. And the one that is listed, the 2-bed listed for $288. That's just under 20. It's $2,450 a square foot. And that one just has 1 parking. $3 million unit, you better have 2 or 3 parking with that. So, but I'm sure you could probably buy another one for 100, 150K. Who knows? They probably got some held back. But I want to hear your comments. Let me know what you guys think of the finishings. Just the color schemes, the cabinets, the gold, the rounding of a lot of the rooms, which kind of you lose a lot of good floor space. They also have a lot of the pillars. A lot of downtown stratas have that massive pillars in living rooms, bedrooms, which it depends on the floor plan and the unit you've got. In some cases, they're kind of out of the way. In other cases, I'm looking, they're not in the most ideal spot, and it would influence your furniture and that kind of thing. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. See you next week.